Immunology Insights, Basics and Beyond, Chapter 41, Peter Medawar and the Discovery of Immune Tolerance. Marcello here. Welcome back to Immunology Insights, Basics and Beyond. Today, we will cover the final chapter of the Transplantation Immunology part of this podcast. Over the past few episodes, we have covered the cellular battles of rejection, the pharmacological defenses of immunosuppression, the hope of immune tolerance, and even the emerging science of graft engineering. But none of these breakthroughs would have been possible without the foundational discoveries of one man. So in this episode, we celebrate Sir Peter Medawar, whose work in the mid-20th century didn't just explain graft rejection, it reshaped our entire understanding of the immune system's capacity to learn, adapt, and sometimes even accept what it once would have destroyed. Without his insights, the field of clinical transplantation as we know it might never have emerged. So let's talk science. Who was Peter Medawar? Peter Brian Medawar lived from 1915 to 1987 and was a Brazilian-born British zoologist and immunologist. Brilliant, curious, and eloquent, he combined sharp experimental thinking with a philosopher's appreciation for complexity. In 1960, Medawar was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine, shared with Frank Macfarlane Burnet, for their work on acquired immunological tolerance. The central idea that the immune system could be trained to ignore specific foreign tissue was revolutionary. It created the intellectual framework for organ transplantation, bone marrow grafting, and much of the tolerance research we've explored in the recent chapters. Let's have a look at his pioneering experiments. In the 1940s, while studying burn patients who had received skin grafts, Medawar noticed that these grafts were often rejected unless the donor was genetically similar. But what really changed the field came from his work in mice. He demonstrated that if newborn mice were injected with foreign donor cells, they would later accept skin grafts from that same donor as adults. Their immune system had essentially been educated to accept the graft as self. This was a turning point. It proved that tolerance could be induced, especially if the immune system encounters foreign antigens early in development, before the machinery for non-self discrimination is fully mature. Why does this work matter so much? Well, Medawar's research clarified that graft rejection was not due to generic tissue incompatibility, as many believed at the time, but rather a targeted immune response. It introduced the concept that the immune system is not fixed, but adaptable, capable of being taught what to fight and what to ignore. That insight laid the foundation for modern immunology, not just in transplantation, but in autoimmunity, tolerance, allergy, and cancer immunotherapy. And most importantly, it inspired generations of scientists to ask better questions and design therapies that cooperate with the immune system rather than just to suppress it. As an anecdote from his career, Medawar was not only a brilliant scientist, but also known for his sharp wit and humility. After a stroke left him partially paralyzed, he once opened a lecture by saying, "People often ask me what it's like to have only half a brain. I always reply, how would I know?" That same spirit, curious, self-aware, and unafraid to challenge assumptions, shaped both his science and his teaching. Peter Medawar's legacy lives on in every transplant performed today. Whether we are talking about kidney or heart transplants, bone marrow grafts, or even cell-based tolerance therapies, the scientific foundation he laid continues to support the field. Institutions like the Medawar Institute and research centers around the world still carry his name and his ideas forward, pushing the boundaries of immune tolerance, chimerism, and graft survival. His influence extends far beyond transplantation. He helped shape modern immunology into a discipline that values flexibility, context, and learning, rather than rigid binary thinking. To conclude, Peter Medawar didn't just shape transplantation, he redefined our understanding of the immune system as something that could be reasoned with, educated, and even reprogrammed. His work reminds us that great science doesn't always start with an answer. It often starts with a new kind of question. In our next chapter, we begin a new journey, this time into the world of infectious diseases and the immune system. We will explore how the immune system distinguishes invaders from allies in the microbial world and what happens when that system goes off track. Before closing, I have a small request. If you enjoyed my content and want to hear more, like and subscribe. It's a small step for you, but it helps me a lot. So, see you next time, and thank you for listening.